Hello, everyone. Thank you for stopping by and tuning into another show. My name is JB the Mentor if you're new here. You know, someone asked me a question, why is co-parenting so important? And I had to stop for a second to regroup so that I could answer this very crucial question. Co-parenting is important because at some point, you might decide to separate from your partner. At some point, you might decide to divorce. At some point, you might not be in love anymore. At some point, you might decide that the only value of this relationship, this family that you have left are your children. Then parent becomes first, foremost, and clearly the thing that you must speak to, clearly the thing that you must live for every day. And the reason why it takes up so much oxygen in the room is because you're responsible for other lives or another life, depending on how many children that you might have. That when you co-parent together, your children have the best of both worlds. When you decide not to co-parent and to bicker and fight and be at one another all day, all night, all year long, for years, your children grow up being half of themselves. Any boy that doesn't have his father in his life, he's half of a man. Any young lady that doesn't grow up with her mom in her life, she's half a woman. And so when you two come together and you say, hey, how can we keep this unit together? What'll come across your mind is this one important thing. We can be so much more as a unit. We can be so much more as a family. We can be so much more as influencers in the lives of our children. We can be so much more because we hold the keys to what these children will take in, what they will receive, what they will disregard, what they will believe. The hunger, the feistiness that they have for life will come from both of us. But we become so much more when we partner up. We become so much more when we tag team. We become so much more when we love them as a unit and not individually. We become so much more when I begin to understand that the woman that helped make my children, how can I do this without her? When she starts to say that the man that helped me bring these children into the world, they need him. Not just for this moment, not just for tomorrow, but they need him always. Until ultimately, we part. We become so much more when we co-parent because it's just common sense that two heads are better than one. The fight is always easier when there's a right hand and a good jab. The fight to raise, the fight to lead, the fight to redirect, the fight to get them to see little things about life is always easier when we realize that we become so much more because we are doing this together. When's the last time you watched a movie and you seen the lead actor and you said, dang, this movie is so good because the lead actor is just tremendous? Think about how many times you've fallen in love with the co-star of the movie. And that's what this becomes. You guys are directing a movie, and the stars and the actors, they're being guided by your directions. And both of you have a front row to how much each scene is going to require. That's what it's like when you're co-parenting. That's why co-parenting is so important and it matters. Because you take turns directing the scenes of your children. And if you want them to be enormous, impactful, seen, heard, with great self-esteem, then you learn to become great co-directors. And in this life, it's important. When you raise children from a perspective of two and not one, the impact is so much more enormous. The self-esteem is so much more inflated. The strides that they take have so much more energy. The way they saunter when they walk down the street has your DNA all over it, because two of you have interjected that we love you, we embrace you, and we're guiding you together. So the next time you think about not being a co-parent, think about all of the deficits and the reasons why that this would be a bad decision. And then when you think about the reasons to become a co-parent, think about all the benefits, the love, the smile these children will take on. And then ultimately, every child wants to know where they come from and who they are. And they can only get that from you. And if you fail them as co-parents, you've taken something so precious from them. And that's the ability to get to know each of you in a way that is respectful, that is loving, that honors them, but most importantly, that says, we made you, we want to guide you, we want to protect you, and we love you. Ladies and gentlemen, co-parenting is the most important job in the world. The job gets a little easier when you put your heads together and you tell yourself this one important sentiment. We become so much more when we raise this unit, this family together, because we are one. No matter what the circumstances that might affect us, we're living as one and we love you. My name is JB the Mentor, and like I always say, please leave comments below if you love content like this. Remember to hit that like button, that subscribe button, that bell right there in the middle, so that when new content is released, you'll be the first ones to receive it. And remember, co-parenting is nothing more than co-directed. And when you do this successfully, you'll have a hit on your hands. Loving, healthy children that's ready to embrace the world, full of self-esteem and joy.